my name's Ashley and we're going to talk about the brat life. So I've been reading this book. As you can see, I'm not even halfway done with it, but it's really got me thinking. There are many pieces of text within this book that have just triggered my mind to go off in a whole bunch of random places, and it seems really relevant with today's issues, so I decided why not just make a video on all of these different quotes that I'm finding. And leave it up to you guys how you want to interpret it, but I'll give you my little thing on what I think each one relates to or means. But by no means am I saying this is the correct interpretation of the book, because I am not the author, and also I'm not even halfway done with the book, meaning I haven't finished it, meaning I don't have the whole picture yet. So I'm just giving you a little snapshot of what this book has meant to me so far. Spoiler alert! There's probably going to be a lot of spoilers in this because I'm going to speak freely about all the stuff that I'm reading, and I'm going to be reading you direct quotes from the book, so if you don't want to deal with that, don't watch this. I really suck at pronouncing things, if you guys haven't noticed in my prior videos, because I can't even talk English normally, so reading is kind of difficult for me. So far in the book, there are two quotes that have just been really digging at me recently. They just triggered a whole bunch of different thoughts in my head, and I just wanted to share them with you. Modesty is invisibility, said Aunt Lydia. Never forget it. To be seen is to be, her voice trembled, penetrated. What you must be, girls, is impenetrable. I don't really know how I feel about that quote yet. I personally am a huge believer in modesty for women, for men, for everyone, but I'm not sure if that quote lines up with my beliefs. In fact, I think it might slightly skew what modesty is supposed to be, which I guess is the whole point of this book so far, is to show that modesty has been taken to an extreme that is now negative. I don't think modesty is invisibility. I honestly think it's the exact opposite. If you're willing to be modest and have someone look at you for who you are and not necessarily what you have to offer physically, I think that takes a lot more strength and should be noticed as something that's out of the ordinary, especially now in today's age, because modesty isn't really something that's done. In saying modesty is invisibility, that implies that you need to hide something, and that something happens to be your body. And by hiding something, you're saying that it's bad, that it's negative, and that's the opposite of what modesty is. Your body is not something to be ashamed of and to hide and think is a bad thing. That's the point of modesty. Modesty gives women the power to show that their body isn't bad and it doesn't define who they are. I feel that my words do not do this justice, so I'm going to leave a link down below that you should go check out. And it's a woman who gives the evolution of the bathing suit and how it turns into the bikini and how modesty ties into it all. And it's just something to provoke your thoughts. I'm not saying it's true, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying, hey, look at it and see what you think. Freedom to versus freedom from. There's more than one kind of freedom, said Aunt Lydia. Freedom to and freedom from. In the days of anarchy, it was freedom to. Now we are being given freedom from. Don't underrate it. It's really interesting just to linger on that concept of freedom to and freedom from. Just think about in society, what are the things we have freedom to do and the things we have freedom from. As of right now, she's describing that we as women have freedom to. Freedom to be a woman, to dress how you want, to have the position in society that you want, to have the job that you want, to have the salary that you want, to be able to do what you want. It's almost as if they're referring to women as a piece of cattle or animal that's being restrained and now has the freedom to roam and live free range. So Aunt Lydia is telling them to be grateful of this freedom from. Freedom from what, though? So far in the book, my understanding is that it's freedom from men's oppression, but it's not the oppression that we like to say we observe in today's society. It's an oppression that they haven't yet defined, but it's very much pointing towards rape and sexual abuse to the point where women are like cattle and just reproduce over and over again. I'm not really sure. I'm not all the way through the book, so I'm probably completely false. And this is just my preconceptions of what this story is going to be about, because again, I will reiterate that I'm not done with it. So that's where freedom from comes in. It's a freedom from males. It just gets me thinking, what did males do to to cause society to think that women have to be freed from them. So this implies that at some point, men were so oppressive within society that there had to be an action taken place that changed and altered the course of society within that whole entire nation. But in order to have freedom from men, women have to dress and talk and have certain roles in society in order not to excite them. So that just brings in the whole aspect of feminism today. The whole push right now is that women should be able to do whatever they want and they should be equal to men, which I agree with partially. I agree that women and men are equal. I think women have the right to act however they want just as much as men have the right to act however they want. This is a dystopia book, which means it's about a society that was pulled to the extreme one way or another, and it shows society living within that extreme, which those are some of my favorite types of books because it just gets you thinking, because it's based on these little tiny ideas that are happening now in society, but blowing them into this massive proportion. So then you can see what the actual effects would be if it was put in 100%. I never ran at night, and in daytime, only beside well-frequented roads. Women were not protected then. I remember these rules. Rules that were never spelled out, but every woman knew. Don't open a door to a stranger, even if he says the police. Make him slide his ID under the door. Don't stop on the road to help a motorcyclist, pretending to be in trouble. Keep the locks on and keep going. If anyone whistles, don't turn and look. Don't go into a laundromat by yourself at night. I think about laundromats, what I wore to them, shorts, jeans, jogging pants, what I put in them, my own clothes, my own soap, my own money that I earn myself. I think about having control. Doesn't that sound similar to what a lot of feminists have been saying recently? Men sometimes can oppress women and that we should be careful and not necessarily take to the extreme of saying that police can't come in your house, but walking alone at night as a woman is scary. But I don't necessarily think it should be. Men aren't these horrible creatures that we're making them out to be. I feel like this quote goes against what feminism is about. Then again, I'm taking it out of context and putting it within our own time frame. In the story, it makes sense because apparently the men did something that completely overrided social rules and put women in danger, but we're not at that point yet. Looking in today's culture and putting this quote in that context, it seems the opposite of feminism. Because what we're doing is making men the enemy instead of saying that women can be equal with them. And I think that that's a very big point in people's thought process nowadays, is that a lot of propaganda seems to be pointing that men are the enemy, men are horrible people, that men are doing all this, when we should be advocating that women take steps in being equal. I personally agree with the original feminism, as in women's suffragists who fought and were passionate about getting women rights, like voting, job placements, pay. But nowadays, feminism is going towards a path that I don't necessarily think is healthy. No longer is it about fighting for equal rights, it's become a shame fest. And I honestly think it has a lot to do with social media and our culture's ability to be spoon-fed. People are no longer doing their own research and figuring out the facts before they state an opinion. They let their emotions get to them when they hear something that's probably false. Like a lot of things on Tumblr are very false, but because a lot of people renote it, I don't know what it's called, I don't tumble, but when a lot of people reblog it, there we go, that's the word. When a lot of people reblog the same post over and over again, it creates a form of credibility that isn't necessarily logical. I probably will create a better video on this topic and just as I said earlier, using facts and credible facts, because I'm not going to be hypocritical and just be emotional and protective about my opinion that feminism is going down a negative path without using the correct sources. So I will make another video sometime in the future that will have those sources and will have the facts that y'all are needing in order to form your own ideas on it, because in no way or shape or form do I want to press my own views on you. I just want to show you facts and have you guys create your own opinion based on those. Here are a whole bunch of different viewpoints and facts and things, and if you want to look at them and take them the way you do it. Because it's about you creating your own opinion. It's not about me spoon-feeding you one, which is something that I really think needs to be pushed within our society, is that no longer should we be spoon-fed, but instead looking at our own facts and sources and creating our own opinion, which is also what I think is kind of going wrong with feminism nowadays. Tell me what you guys think of those quotes. What did you find interesting about them? Give me some examples of freedom to do and freedom from. Do you have those in your lives? What is your definition of modesty? Is it good? Is it bad? Let me know. It'd be really cool to hear you guys' thoughts. My name is Ashley. Stay bratty.